Greetings, fellow Ark players, and welcome back to another episode of the Dino Archives. I'm Havoc with the HGC YouTube gaming channel, and this is my cat Ember. We're going to be going over the Baryonyx today. We're going to talk about where you can find them, the spawn maps. We're going to talk about its utility. We're going to go over how to tame it and how to breed it. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to judge it on a scale from 1 to 10 on its overall usefulness compared to all the other dinos in Ark. And that will be on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not very useful to 10 being extremely useful. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for watching. The Baryonyx can spawn on 4 of the 5 Ark maps that are currently out: the Island, the Center, Ragnarok, and Aberration. They're typically found hunting for fish near rivers, streams, and swamps. The highlight ability of the Baryonyx is its underwater tail sweep. This move will stun sea creatures that are similar to the Baryonyx's size, leaving them vulnerable to assault or taming. A special use for this ability is taming the Basilosaurus. The mantas that surround a Basilosaurus can do a lot of damage very quickly to most tamed mounts, so this is where it's nice to have the Bary spin attack. You can stun the mantas and kill them while they're paralyzed. The stun seems to last around 5 to 10 seconds, but it doesn't stack. So the sea creature will be stunned for a total of 5 to 10 seconds, no matter how many times you continue to hit it with the tail attack. Once they do wake back up from the stun though, you'll be able to paralyze them again. One thing to note is that it seems like a lot of the sea creatures will temporarily swim off after waking up from being stunned, but they don't typically go too far before they come back to attack you once more, in which case you can just stun them again. If you use this move on a mounted enemy player, it will knock them off their mount and stun them, as long as they are on a small or medium-sized marine mount. Another thing to mention is that the Baryonyx is not effective against jellyfish or electric eels. The Baryonyx can also function on land, but they don't really have any special abilities out of the water. They run at a decent speed, they can jump, and they do a fair amount of melee damage, but they don't have a whole lot of health, so you probably wouldn't want to bring your Baryonyx to a Rex fight. The Baryonyx is a typical knockout tame. You can pick it up with an Argentavis or larger bird and drop it into your own taming pen. You can also immobilize the Baryonyx with a simple bola, so getting a berry and knocking it out isn't all that difficult. Once it's unconscious, it will take a little while for it to wake back up, so you should have enough time to run out and get raw prime fish meat to feed it. Even though raw prime fish is its second favorite food next to the Pachyrhino kibble, it will take a while for it to tame and it won't produce an ideal taming effectiveness. So try to use the kibble. Pachyrhino kibble consists of 1 Pachyrhino egg, 1 citronal, 1 cooked prime fish meat, 2 mejoberries, 3 fiber, and 1 water. It's made in the cooking pot or industrial cooker. If you don't have a good way to get a lot of raw prime fish meat or Pachyrhino kibble, the next best thing is cooked prime fish meat, then raw fish meat, then cooked fish meat. Try not to go less than raw prime fish meat though, otherwise you're going to be waiting forever for it to tame and you probably won't have any taming effectiveness left over at the end. The saddle can be unlocked at level 49 and it can be built at the smithy for 350 fiber, 225 hide, and 25 metal ingots. Breeding the Baryonyx is standard procedure. Get a high quality male and female into a small room and enable them to wander in their radial menus. You will see little hearts appear over them as the fertilized egg gets closer to being laid. You can also look at the female's HUD to see a progress bar for how close it is to laying the fertilized egg. It's about a 5-minute process. Once the egg is laid, you will then need to incubate it before it can hatch. If the egg is too hot or too cold, it won't be able to incubate properly and it will start to lose health. The health of the egg does not coincide with the quality of the baby. So don't worry about the health too much, just don't let it reach 0, otherwise the baby will die. You can always put the fertilized egg into a refrigerator or a preserving bin until you are ready to incubate it. If you're level 61 or higher, build some air conditioners and drop the egg next to them. If you're a lower level, you can raise the temperature of the egg with campfires or torches. You can see all the information you will need to know by looking at the egg's HUD and observing the information it gives you. Once the egg hatches, you will need to imprint and name the baby. You will then need to have raw fish meat on hand to put into the baby's inventory. If you forget to do this, the baby will starve to death, so don't forget to stock up on raw fish meat before the egg hatches. You will also probably want to go into its radial menu and disable wandering, so it doesn't wander off and get lost. Stay with the baby for a while until you can put a bunch of stacks of raw fish meat into its inventory, and then you can leave it alone for a while and not worry about it. Notice the amount of time on the baby's HUD for when it wants care. When that timer reaches 0, you will have another chance to imprint on it and give it an extra stat boost. So you may want to set a timer on your phone so you don't forget. Best case scenario, it will want to cuddle or go for a walk. Worst case scenario, it will ask for a type of kibble that you don't have. If you don't have the type of kibble it's asking for, you won't be able to imprint on it any further. If you do have the type of kibble that it wants, put it into the 0 slot of your tool belt and feed it to the growing Baryonyx. If you do successfully imprint on it, notice the wants care timer again. Set an alarm on your phone and repeat until the baby is fully mature or imprinting reaches 100%. The Baryonyx gets a 5 out of 10 on the overall usefulness scale. On land, it can move fairly quickly, it can jump, and it can output an okay amount of damage. Underwater, it can also move at a nice speed and output an okay amount of damage, but the real highlight of the Bary is its ability to stun an area of underwater players and creatures. That being said, the Baryonyx isn't a tame that you really need to effectively progress in the game, and it's not a dino you would need to use every day. Overall, an Allosaurus would be a much better option on land, and underwater, a Megalodon would be a better option, so the Baryonyx does get some extra points for its versatility and its underwater stunning ability, but it also loses points for not being extremely good at any one thing. It is simply an okay dino that has a trick up its sleeve. So what do you think? Is 5 out of 10 a fair overall usefulness rating? Please let me know in the comments section, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll check out the next Dino Archive, where we will be going over the Basilosaurus.